I can remember when we came out of the doctor's, we sat in the car and hugged each other and cried, and that was it.
But I'm still here.
Yep.
It's still in place.
Yep. Tippy's got up and gone.
I'll never forget it. He was sitting at his desk and I was sitting in a chair, and he said, well, he said, of course, he said, you know you got cancer, don't you? And I said, well, yeah, I'd got a horrible suspicion that's what it was. And then he went through and told me what the procedure was.
So I just said, go ahead, do it, cut it out now. Get it done and carry on with life.
Take out the papers and the trash, or you don't get no spending cash. If you don't scrub that kitchen floor, you ain't gonna rock and roll no more. Yakety yak!
Don't talk back.
Speaking for Doreen, I must say the day that you hear that one has cancer is not a good day.
I mean, you soon get used to the idea, or it didn't seem to bother me too much. I was more interested in carrying on with my life and doing what I was interested in, rather than worrying about how it was going to affect me.
I didn't really know what to say or do. I just thought, well, I've got it. No, what happens now, you know? When I did come to, things are a little bit different. You've got tubes all over the place, and, you know, it's quite a major operation.
I knew nothing about that operation at all, and it frightened the life out of me.
But after they removed the cancer from my throat, they put his hand, they actually showed me a photograph of it. And it was about this sort of shape and black. And it looked like a big bat. It was quite revolting, actually. Thank God that's gone.
In the beginning, you tend to eat a lot of softer foods. Touch wood now, there's nothing I can't eat.
After the operation, I sent a friend out to get a big notepad and some pens, and I just wrote everything down all the time.
I didn't give it a thought when I went in for the operation that when I woke up I wouldn't be able to talk. It didn't cross my mind.
I was in a little room and there was a notice board on the door without a notice in it, so I thought I'd pull one in every day, which I did. And one of the classics was Heartburn Hotel, and, you know, it just went on from day to day with silly things. We all had a really good laugh about it.
I thought, oh God, what do I do if he stops breathing? You know, they tell you have to do artificial here, and I was really nervous. I always said, it's okay, you just ring us up and let us know. I thought, well, it could be in the middle of that. Doesn't matter, there's someone here all the time. But that did frighten me.
So there's a lot of mucus there, and when you're not used to that, it's a bit frightening.
It's especially when it's dark at night.
Yeah. But we got through that. We got used to it, and it's just we gradually settled down to our normal pattern of life. You do, in the early days, you do tend to panic a little bit because it does restrict your breathing, because you've only got the one place to breathe through, and that's through the hole in your neck. Whence they call us neck breathers. But providing you keep, you carry out all the hygiene, there's no reason, you know, for you to worry or anybody to really worry about it. Excuse me just a minute. I'm just going to clear this. It's getting a bit broken. One more minute.
Sometimes in certain situations, coughing can be a slight embarrassment, especially, you know, if you're at the opera. I mean, all of a sudden because my coughing is quite violent sometimes to try and clear what's stuck. And it can be very embarrassing.
It may do the same as if you've got a heavy cold and you're just blowing your nose, basically. It's the same difference. The main thing is you can't blow your nose anyhow. So if you want to sneeze, you can get a bit frustrated at times. You can make the effort to sneeze, but it's not the same. It's not like a proper sneeze. You get a tickly nose and you can't sneeze it away. You got to rub it away. You can't sneeze.
As we would blow our nose, this was the thing. As he would blow, you blow nose, it comes out here. It's most when it first happened, it was, you know, you put your hanky here to blow in a way like he does. So that took quite a bit of getting used to, really.
I have a lot of mucus which comes up here. Then people look around and it does make you a bit self-conscious, but I get used to it.
They call it a larengectomy cough, but it's quite harsh. And when people first hear it, they say, "Oh, what's the matter with John?" You know, after all this long time, I'm used to it. It was just all so different, but we gradually came to terms with it, and we helped one another, I suppose, really.
10 days after the operation, when they removed the dressings, and I tried my voice, it was fine, and there was no sort of transition period. I just had a good voice, and I was very pleased to hear it.
You've got a good pair of lungs, haven't you? Which we thought, I always thought all the running John did helped him enormously, because he'd got a good pair of lungs, so you could breathe very well, couldn't you?
When I first had the operation, I used to whisper, so I would whisper. That's the way you could get it off. Go after seeing a speech therapist. Did you know when you burp, I swallow air into my stomach, and that's how I bring it up. Like this is a drum scheme, but the mouth actually can burp, and that's how I talk, by actually continuous burping.
I'm not sure mechanically how it works, but all I do is I just talk as if I was talking normally before I had the operation, except that I tend to push the air out slightly more than I did before, and the voice just comes, and it comes from down here at the bottom of the throat, and I don't know why it happens. It just does. There was a meeting arranged for me with with another guy that had had the same operation, and the speech therapist recommended that I have a word with him, just so that he could put my mind at rest. Well, let me know what's involved. And he walked into the room where I was waiting for him, and his voice, well, you'd never have thought there was anything wrong with him, other than the fact he kept touching his throat like I'm doing now. You'd have never thought he was anything wrong with him. Marvellous voice, marvellous man, and he gave me all the confidence in the world.
So from my time, which was, say, 23 years ago, things have come on, clips and payouts, and people have a much better chance of getting on with their life. People can talk differently. You've probably seen on this video. People talking with valves. So my voice comes out much better. Unfortunately, mine was done a long time ago, and I didn't have that, so there are many different ways to talk.
All that this machine does is causes a vibration that then you govern into words by you would just form the shapes of the words. The machine itself just makes a... You have to control it completely, otherwise you end up talking like that, and it goes on, and it gets a terrible bore in the end.
The stoma is the hole where the operation has been carried out, and the stoma button, which is this here, is what I use to transmit my voice, and it does two things. This particular one, which is a hands-free one, means I can talk without pressing the top of the button, and also it helps me to breathe, and it filters the air. And I suppose I can show you Holding my neck is a stoma. I can talk if I press this again. And this is the stoma. Have a button. If I separate the two, you can see what they are. That is the filter that I filter the air through. And I change that every other day. That has to be changed. Sometimes more often if I'm working with or standing in a dusty area with work going on. That clogs up, but I need to change it. And I just put that in. Like that, and I can talk. Behind the stoma is a valve, like a little bobbin, which goes between the airway and the gut. And the airway is where you breathe, and the gut, of course, is where I eat and swallow. And this little valve, which is like a non-return valve, allows me to swallow food and drink without it getting into the airways and choking. But after a period, this little bobbin wears and it leaks. And as a result of that, when I drink anything, it gets into the airway and then I start coughing and I can't swallow properly. So it has to be changed.
If it does leak, I just phone up the cancer clinic and they take me in and fit a new one in. It's only a 5-minute job, done and dusted. Pull one out, push a new one in. No anaesthetic, nothing.
I go to see the consultant every 6 months or so, and we talk photography, and that's that bit.
One of the best things that happened was we joined the support group at the hospital.
The group meets about every 2 months or so, and it is a real confidence booster for anybody that's just had the operation done, because they can see that we're all in the same boat. They can hear how we're talking, and it's well worth going along to join in.
And they were wonderful, so that we went along there and we saw other people who had a similar thing to John, and you could talk to them and see how they were coping with things. So that made a lot of difference.
Yes.
I mean, we still belong to the support group, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Trying to deal with it. It's more scary for your partner. God, people are too acute because they can suffer. It can sometimes more than you do because they have to watch you struggling, watch you. But they think it's suffering. I think you just got to get on with it. But they feel for you. Can far more than often one realises.
You think for why they shouldn't be, and you have to try and explain to them that I don't want sorrow, I don't want sympathy. If you want to give me help, come along and let's do this. Come with me, let's do things. Sympathy is not really the answer.
I've always said, live today with respect for tomorrow and enjoy what you can, because life is sweet and it is enjoyable. Yes, things do change when you've had your voice out. But there's other things you can do, other things which are just as enjoyable.
What's the point of being sad or moaning about you're not being good enough? And no, it's there to live and enjoy, make the most of it.
Well, apart from all the problems that Doreen's had, she's leading a very full, active life. She's got a good relationship with her family and friends. Lots of hobbies and interests. What more can you want? Don't let anything get in the way.
Go on through there. Magazine the other day said the world record for surviving laryngiectomy is 55 years. But I've only got 23. So I've got a bit to go yet. But I'll get there. And I'll beat that. Go to Westbrook and I'll do world records. So that'd be quite interesting if I could. I'm sure I will.
Take out the papers and the trash, or you don't get no spending cash. If you don't scrub that kitchen floor, you ain't gonna rock and roll no more. Yakety yak!
Don't talk back.